If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, we have Braydon Akeo on the show. He returns to action December 20th at Bellator 235. He will take on Tywan Claxton in his backyard in Hawaii. Braydon, how are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. It's great to have you here. This is a nice little cherry on top of the sundae, isn't it? Third fight of the year. You get to make your Bellator debut. You get to do it in Hawaii against one of the big prospects in the organization, a guy that was part of the featherweight Grand Prix to boot. This is pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, man, for sure. It's going to be an awesome event. Let's keep thinking about it, and it's going to be something special for sure.
I'm sure you've been following along with Tywan's run in Bellator. His highlight reels were everywhere. How did you react to finding out you'd be making your Bellator debut against him?
Man, I'm stoked. I really wanted a chance at somebody that's already signed to them. I wanted a shot at a big name, and I'm just very excited for the opportunity. I know I've seen Taiwan since he was in college wrestling. I was around that scene. We've entered in some of the same tournaments, so I've seen him since college wrestling days, and I'm excited to finally test the waters.
Have you guys, throughout that process of being in the wrestling scene, did you guys cross paths? Did you guys have conversations before? Have you had a history with him outside of that?
No, we haven't. He was on the East Coast at Ohio D1. My coach, where I went to college at, actually wrestled for the same university that he went to. So kind of seen him here and there before at tournaments, but I've never known him personally, never talked to him or ever competed against him.
From doing my research, you haven't been fighting in the cage for that long, really. I mean, it's been about 2.5 years since you made your amateur debut. At least that's what your Tapology page says. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 23 years old. Yeah, I wouldn't say a ton of experience in the MMA cage, but martial arts has been a part of my life since I was 4 years old. So I've been competing since that age. This is nothing new to me.
When did this MMA journey start for you? Like, what got you on? I mean, I know you've been in martial arts since you were 4 years old, but MMA is a little bit different. You're fighting in a cage with another human being. What got you on this crazy road that is mixed martial arts? A road that a very small percentage of people actually take.
Look, so I always I've had this conversation with my dad before, and I was like, when I'm done with college wrestling, I'm gonna make that transition into MMA. I've said that, but I never really went out and did it. And then think I was through my redshirt year in college, I found out I was having a kid, found out I was having a child, my first son. So my mind kind of switched at that point. I didn't want to waste any more time in college wrestling. I was like, let's go out and do this. I need to start making some money. So at that point, I stopped wrestling in college, moved up to Portland, Oregon. I was at Team Quest MMA. Really helped pave the way for my transition into MMA. That's how this thing all came about.
Was there a certain time in the sport, a certain fighter that got you into mixed martial arts in general, like being from the college wrestling scene? What actually got the sport on your radar?
I think right before I made my my amateur MMA debut, Max Holloway won his first UFC title. We're from the same hometown. That was a big inspiration to me. And then when I moved up to Portland, Pat Healy, former UFC fighter, really took me under his wing, helped me out a lot. He even helped me with this camp, showed me the ropes, and really was a big inspiration, motivation into me going out and turning professional and making a living out of this.
Having the martial arts background and having the wrestling background, did you take to the sport right away? Were you humbled at all, like early on? Like, what was that early process like for you?
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, it's different. You're in a cage, you're getting punched in the face. So there's always times you're being humbled, and you have rough days in the gym, but those are the times you grow the most. I remember my first year in college, before transferring to Southwestern Oregon, I was at the Olympic training site. So I'm wrestling with senior level guys, world medalists, and I took my lumps in the first part of the semester. But after that semester, I became a shark in that tank, So it's just a part of the process. I understand it's a part of the process. You got to get beat down. You got to get humbled in order to grow. And I feel like through those lessons, I'm here now. I find like you said, I only got 2.5 years of experience, but I feel like I've hit this level in MMA where I'm able to compete and hang with the vets in the sport, you know. So
It's got to feel good knowing that you're learning all these lessons early on, and you're not even near what your physical peak's going to be. So you're just going to continue to
yeah,
grow and grow. Does that get you excited knowing that you still have like a long way to go to get better and better and evolve in the sport?
I got like maybe 4 or 5 more years till I'm in my athletic prime, you know, and I really feel it's just my IQ and my mind is different. It don't work the same as a lot of these fighters, you know. I'm able to process things. From my coaching experience, I coach high level athletes. I understand what it takes to get better and how to how to put it all together, you know. So I got a lot of great coaches, not just me, that are all helping me build. And man, I'm just excited. You know, if I'm at this level, 23 years old, 2.5 years, and imagine 4 or 5 years, how I'm gonna be.
Exactly. For those who are seeing you for the first time or hearing your name for the first time heading into this fight with Tywan Claxton, what's the marquee fight? What's the one that everyone should go watch on YouTube or somewhere that will show who you are as a fighter and a martial artist at this point?
You know, a lot of my fights, to be honest, I didn't really get to show like my full set of skills. I didn't have to turn it up to level 4 or 5 or crank it up to these gears. You know, I was finishing fights fairly easy. My second fight, I had a I had an injury right before the fight, so I didn't get the finish, but I still was able to dominate all 3 rounds. Um, you can go look at some of my fights. My last fight was a good one. I finished them in the first round, but like I said, I didn't really get to show my full set of skills. I didn't really get to show my full potential in any of those fights, and I think I'm gonna get to really show the world this one. You know, that's why I was happy I got somebody that's game like Tywan. I feel like I have this ability, this skill, and somebody's at this level to be able to match it, to get up to that level. So I'm excited, man.
When Ed sent your name to me to interview, and I interview everybody at this point,
Mm-hmm.
the name rang a bell, and I had to like think about it for a second, and then I realized that back in March you were supposed to fight for looking for a fight, right?
Yeah, yeah. So that was supposed to happen. It fell through. They had some things going on with the promotion and just didn't come about. But everything happens for a reason, and we're here now. You know, I way rather sign with Bellator at this point than the UFC, to be honest.
Why is that?
Man, a lot of the business things, you know, like I don't really want to get into specifics about pay and stuff, but there's a lot of things that interest me in Bellator. You know, like how they have the Grand Prix for $1 million. You know, no politics involved. You advance, you win the tournament, you get $1 million. You know, there's no this politics stuff that like what happens in the UFC. So a lot of those things really intrigue me.
So now, I mean, you did fight on that March 22nd card. You got the win, and now you get to fight Tywan Claxton on December 20th. How are you feeling? You touched on that Pat Healy's been working with you. How has camp been going? We're a little less than 2 weeks away from this one. How has the camp and the preparation been going for this one?
Camp has actually been going great. It's the best shape I've ever been in. I know a lot of fighters say that, but I've really been working with a new strength and conditioning coach for the last 2 camps, and where I'm at this camp compared to the last camp is just off the charts. So I'm super excited about that. There's going to be no cardio issues. I'm stronger than I ever been. Most of my camp has been here in Hawaii at Gracie Technics. My coach is Rylan Lazarez, and Ivan Flores has been helping me tremendously. Feel like I really leveled up in this camp. And then I went over to Team Quest for a little while, got some good rounds with some good wrestlers in, t- um, touched up on some things with Pat Healy, and it's been going excellent, man. I'm super excited. Still got 2 more weeks to put in some work and sharpen up some things, so I'll be ready come fight night.
When will you start to kind of pull the lever back a little bit? Because obviously you don't want to go full hard heading into
Yeah,
fight week,
yeah.
but when will you start to teeter things down slightly?
So we're already tapering on the MMA side. We're just sharpening up the game plan, going over it. You know, still going hard in the strength and conditioning department. We'll probably taper off about a week before the fight, and yeah.
What I like about these December cards, one, obviously being in Hawaii is a really cool thing in MMA. It's something that Bellator can hold over the UFC because the UFC has been talking about getting there. They can't, but Bellator can get there, which is cool. But this is also a salute the troops event. Bellator teams up with the USO to do something special for the men and women of the armed forces. What does that mean to you, being able to be a part of a special event like this for the troops?
Man, it's super special. You know, a lot of military here in Hawaii, so to be able to perform and give them a show. It's going to be great,
We don't want to give away, obviously, the whole game plan, but, I'm sure you've watched Tywan Claxton and your coaches have watched him and you've learned some things, some traits. What kinds of holes have you seen? What kinds of advantages do you feel you have in this fight?
We take him to deep waters, so I know he can't swim, so that's the game plan. We take him into deep waters.
I'm not sure how active you are on like MMA Twitter or anything like that, because like fans, they can be great, they could also be very judgmental at the same time. So when some of these fans saw this fight booked, people may say, on paper, this is going to be a bounce back fight for Tywan. Braydon's going to be a sacrificial lamb, so to speak. How do you respond to those people who think that this is just going to be a layup fight for him to get back on track?
In my amateur and professional career, I've never lost a round. I'm 3-0. People on paper, they're going to look at this and be like, he's a D1 wrestler. I'm not. He was never a D1 All-American or a D1 national champ. He was a D2 All-American. I'm a junior college All-American as well as a Fila Junior Greco-Roman All-American. So those kind of things, we're gonna find out fight night who the better wrestler is, who the better fighter is. And I feel like I have the edge in the grappling department. We talk about wrestling, but I've been doing judo and jiu-jitsu since I was 4 years old. So I feel like I got the edge in the grappling department. It's not just the wrestling. This is an MMA fight. I got tremendous coaches that have kind of helped me develop this game plan for him. And come fight night, we're gonna stick to that game plan. We're gonna show the world.
Will Pat be cornering you for this fight?
Pat will not be cornering me for this fight. Right now, he just took a new job as in the EMT or fire department or something like that. So he's kind of occupied at the moment over there in Portland. I would love to have him in my corner in the future. So once we get that Bellator contract and can kind of start doing those things, I would love to have him in my corner.
How do you see this all playing out on December 20th? You guys open up the main card. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs upon this fight leading into everything else that's going to be happening. How do you see this all playing out on December 20th?
I see me coming away with the W. I'm super excited, super thankful for Bellator for this slot on the main card, kicking off the card. I think it was a excellent choice by them. It's going to be a good fight for the crowd. A lot of the Hawaii fans last year, they wanted to see not Hawaii versus Hawaii, but Hawaii versus the mainland, so we're giving it to them December 20th.
What does a win do for you here? Do you feel like you'll get locked into a Bellator contract? Is that the ultimate goal here, to have them sign you long term and be able to compete as much as possible in 2020?
Definitely. I got one kid now. I got another one coming in February. I want to get locked in with Bellator. It'd be great if I can come away with a W. I think I got a really good shot at getting signed.
Well, congratulations on being a dad for the second time. Is it going to be a boy or a girl? Do you know yet?
Gonna be another boy.
Another boy. There you go. How much has that helped you with your fighting? Does that give you extra motivation? Like from some fighters, they feel super motivated by being a dad and taking a look at their kids, and others feel like, Nick Newell, perfect example. Like fighting's for me. I do all these things to be there for my kids, but fighting's my thing. What side of the fence are you on? Does that motivate you, or does it all just kind of come hand in hand? How do you look at it, being a dad and a fighter?
It's a little bit of both for me, because I've always been a natural competitor. Like, you put me in a competition and like I'm gonna try to win. I've always been sort of a sore loser as a kid growing up. I've matured a little as I got older, but I've always been a competitor. But at the same time, like I said, I went into fighting. I chose this career path for my family, to provide for my family. So it's a little bit of both for me. I'm a natural competitor, but I do this for my family. So
when you got into this sport, did you think that in any point of your career you'd be sharing a main card with Josh Barnett?
Never, man. That guy's a legend. I remember watching him fight in Strikeforce, and he's gonna be the main event. It's gonna be crazy, So just goes to show, like, we made it. We just got to capitalize on this opportunity.
Well, it was really great catching up with you, Braydon. Looking forward to this fight on December 20th against Tywan Claxton. Before we let you go, let the folks know where they can find and follow you on the web, social media, any shout-outs, anything else you want to get off your chest. The floor is yours, sir.
Right on, man. Thank you. You can follow me on Instagram at b.akeo145. I just want to give a shout-out to all my sponsors. You guys know who you are. Thank you to my team, Gracie Technics. Thank you to my management, Iridium Sports Agency. Right on, man. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you, Braydon. All the best to you and the rest of the camp, and on December 20th in the fight.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.